Scenic Hotel Group, a place to stay no matter your staycation. From the Legacy Collection for those special occasions, to Heartland Hotels, with room for the whole whānau. Find your place to stay at scenichotelgroup.co.nz.
We're continuing our rip around the Super Rugby franchises as the season proper draws closer, and we've landed today with one of the competition's newest franchises.
Moana Pasifika win their second ever game in Super Rugby Pacific. The Brumbies have come to Mount Smart, and Moana Pasifika have beaten the Brumbies 32 points to 22.
Yeah, what a way for Moana Pasifika to finish their inaugural Super Rugby campaign. That was their final game of last season, the win over the Brumbies. Moana Pasifika head coach Aaron Mauger is with us. Thanks for taking the time, Aaron. You've named largely the same squad as you had in your inaugural season last year. Was that always likely that it would be largely the same group of players?
Yeah, we knew when we contracted with our first group, Jace, that we're going to have the majority of this group for 2 years. So we had 4 guys move on from our first year, and so we've pretty much got the same squad, but it's a different squad, eh? Like, a lot of our guys have really grown a lot in the last year, matured, played another 20 games of rugby at their first class level after coming into their first pre-season last year. As a lot of our guys are relatively unknown, eh? I think we had 33 debutants last year through our 12 games. So same squad, but different squad, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And you talk about pre-season. I remember last year it was a very small pre-season window and a disrupted one. How valuable has it been to have a much more structured and fuller pre-season this time around?
Oh, mate, it's been awesome. Like, we're just so much better prepared. You can feel that confidence, the growth that we've seen, the maturity in our men, not just as footy players, but also the stuff they're doing off the field as well is really noticeable. So they should be confident. There's a bit of nervous anticipation as well, which is a good thing.
Fantastic. So you're a second-year team now. What are the things that you learned in your first campaign as a team and as a management that'll be most valuable as you head into campaign number 2?
Yeah, I think you've got to understand your group and what you're dealing with. Like I said earlier, our guys a lot of them are at the early part of their journeys. So creating consistency in their habits and their preparation and driving all those things daily is clearly going to lead us to more consistent performances, whether it be week after week or even in game. Like we had some games that we narrowly lost. If a bit more consistent over the 80 minutes, and you're swinging some of those outcomes. So there's enough from last year to get excited about. We're a bit more experienced coming into this year, so our expectations around how we perform and getting more outcomes is certainly lifted.
Yeah, the squad does seem to have really deep potential, and that was on display last year, as you say, with your couple of wins and a couple of narrow losses as well. Have you thought about how you go about translating, that deep potential and the experience of your first season into better on-field success and results this time around?
Yeah, it's a bit of an old cliche, mate, but games are won and lost up front, and that's been a big focus of ours. And we talk about consistency. We often relate that to capacity, being able to stay on for the whole game, and that was an area where we addressed. And as a management and as a playing group, we're really frank that we weren't at the levels we needed to be last year around our fitness and our capacity. So that's been a huge focus for us in pre-season. And then just maturity around our decision making and controlling games. We're very fortunate to have a guy like Christian Leilafano last year driving our team around. So he's been outstanding again through this pre-season and really bringing on like Lincoln McClutchies and D'Angelo Luilas and these players too have got a bit of a better feel for how to manage the game. So there are 2 areas that we certainly highlighted, ability to be more competitive up front and also how we manage games in big moments.
Yeah, Christian's obviously going to be a big player for you again. Your captain, Sikopi Kepu, understand he's not going to be there from the start with an Achilles injury, Aaron. Can you give us an update on his possible involvement and his possible return?
Yeah, we think Keps is probably going to miss the first 3 or 4 weeks. So hopefully have him back available round 5, round 6 is that initial milestone. So he's doing really well. He's obviously still a big part of our pre-season planning and growing the mentality required to match our aspirations of the team. So they're still heavily involved, but we won't see them in those opening rounds.
I know you and Philo Tetia attended the World Rugby Pacific Combine up in Fiji back in September, a pathway towards the Samoan, Tongan and Fijian national teams, and you picked up a player there as well for Moana Pasifika. How encouraged, though, were you with the talent you saw on display there?
Oh, it was awesome, mate. Being up there, it's just a reminder of a lot of that untapped talent and potential that sits within the islands, and being able to identify not only Miracle Whailangi, who's a fully contracted member now. We had five other guys from that combine come and spend the first block of pre-season with us. And it was amazing how much they grew in such a short time. Just being in a fully professional program. So. Those opportunities are there for us. Now that Miracle's in our squad, that pathway is visible and it's tangible for all those young aspiring footy players on the islands. And hopefully, rather than being snapped up by other franchises, we become the team of choice. If they do have an opportunity to come and be professional footy players. So, no, really exciting, mate. We were buzzing after that week, and it was great to go and connect with our local coaches and medical staff and other areas of governance as well, and help uplift and support them.
Yeah, terrific stuff. I'll look at the draw. Your opening game against the Fijian Drua at home, Mount Smart, February 25th. It seems like a terrific way to open your campaign. How much anticipation is there around about your opening match?
Oh, we couldn't ask for a better opener, I think the stadium's going to be pumping, and our guys are excited. It's going to be a real celebration of Pacific Island rugby. Two teams that have created a bit of excitement for the competition, and a lot of proud nations that have now been recognised at this stage in our own right. So, it's going to be a huge celebration, and look forward to that battle.
And you'll also play a game up in Apia on the 14th of April against the Reds. How special an occasion will that be to take a game up there?
Yeah, well, that's another. We're already celebrating that, That's a massive win, being able to get a game up into the islands. The ideal would have been to have our first two games in Samoa and Tonga. So, that'll be the plan going forward. But, we've got this opportunity to take our game to Samoa and connect with our community on the ground over there. So, that's going to be a really special week, and one that I know our boys and our staff are really looking forward to.
Aaron, can you ever see a time, or is it the plan, for Moana Pasifika to actually be based in the islands rather than New Zealand?
Yeah, that's certainly the long-term plans or discussions that have been had. Obviously, has its logistical challenges around where and how you centralise a program with the islands being so spread. There's a bit of work to be done on that, but yeah, that'd be awesome. Mate, for the meantime, Auckland's our home, and we want to try and take as much of our program to our people in the islands. A game in the Cook Islands would be awesome too, and our smaller islands like Niue, Tokelau. We don't forget the important part they play, and we're representing them as well.
I know a lot of the New Zealand Super Rugby franchises, in fact, all of them, have things in place around it being a Rugby World Cup year and the All Blacks. Do you feel a responsibility to your players who have World Cup aspirations with Tonga and Samoa later in the year, both to showcase them, I guess, but also to look after them?
Oh, 100%. That's our job as coaches to, elevate our players as far as they can go and help them realise, their dreams. Pulling on the Kalitahi jersey or the Manu Samoa jersey or a Fijian jersey. We've got Fijian boys in our squad too, all capable of making those squads. We'd love to see as many of our players in there. We had 80% of our squad last year represent the Manu or the Kalitahi, which is huge. And even the dialogue, it actually kept the whole Moana Pasifika club alive through that off-season period, just following our boys and the joy that it brings, to our people watching our men on the big stage. So we would love to see a World Cup full of Moana Pasifika players either playing in that red, blue or white jersey.
Just talking to you in the last 10 minutes and other interviews I've heard and seen you give since you've taken over or been given this opportunity as head coach Moana Pasifika. It seems, that it's something that you're absolutely relishing, Aaron. How different is this team from other teams you've been involved with as a player and as a coach?
Oh, it's very unique. I haven't experienced anything else like it, to be fair. Probably the closest experience would have been my playing days at the Crusaders, which was home, where I grew up, and I always felt like I belonged. And this is similar, but probably the connection side of it is even more accentuated. I get to represent my own Pacific Island roots, and carry my family name and my villages back in the Cook Islands, up in Narutu and the Austral Islands with me. And I think I talked about when we announced our squad, we don't just name a team of players, we announce our people and everything they bring into our space, and that's celebrated every day, mate. So I'm learning just as much as our boys. It's been a bit of a journey for me, but absolutely loving it, and it's been a real privilege to lead in my role. So I'm really excited about the season ahead, and hopefully we can put a few more smiles on some Pacific Island faces and gain a bit more support. Had our challenges last year, but I think the way that our boys journey and what our club stands for is pretty special. So looking to add some more people to our rocker, mate, with our performances, and hopefully we can bring some excitement to the comp.
I'm sure that'll happen. Thank you for taking the time for a chat to us, Aaron. All the best for the rest of pre-season and on towards the season proper. Look forward to catching up as the campaign begins.
Always a pleasure to connect, Jace. Take care, mate.